blocked by damage block. Well, Valve created a new mechanic when they made Flesh Heap the way they did, and it damage blocks like all damage sources. So it's like a super damage block sort of thing. So yeah, against Death Prophet, Exorcism, and against Spirit Siphon, it's really, really good because you can block huge chunks of damage. But once it runs out, you just die. That's the downside for sure. It only lasts for what 8 seconds or something like that, 7 seconds. It doesn't say naturally on the tooltip.
Tooltip's still in beta, but that's fine. But yeah, excited to see this, and obviously this is a huge match for both respective teams. 5RATFORCESTAFF are the underdogs coming into this. If they lose, then there's going to be a tiebreaker for the lower bracket to be able to go to Div 2. I was going to say, to be able to go to Div 2 would indicate that you want to. So let's just...
Some do. Arkosh Gaming.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But from Nouns, they have to win, and they have to hope that, I mean, even if they win, EG can still win, and they still have a tiebreak potential to go to the major. So they have a lot on the plate for Nouns, who have been the big surprise in this DPC. But Pudge is... So I talked about this last time, Purge. Jenkins brought this up, that Nouns and obviously the former 4Zoomers guys, they have... What's the right way to put this? They tend to play down to their competition, but this is such an important match that I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this Pudge pick is not something they're kind of just playing around with. They feel very confident with it. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I would agree. I think they should be semi-confident with it, picked in this position. Again, there are some counters, but it's not like there's a traditional hard carry on the other team. Something that we neglected to mention during the draft stuff that Mira just pointed out is that Lil Nick's not playing with 5RATFORCESTAFF today. It's actually Speed playing off lane. They're having Nico from Simply 2 Base playing mid for them. So considering Nick is by far one of their best players, this could really hurt their chances of winning today regardless of the draft and stuff. So hopefully they can pivot well.
Yeah, I wonder what the story behind that is. Is Zephyr getting really low to the shadow word from Albino Zebra, but looks like he will survive, just still aggroing these. I say that, that's another... You can't deny that, unfortunately. But he is actually tangoing through, so...
he was late.
He is actually going to survive with 15 HP. Gracious.
He was trying to, like, next level out the tango. Is like, not have to eat the second tango just to live, but he did have to eat it just to survive, so... but yeah, level in Shadow Word, it's a really, really good ability. 180 damage with 1 skill point is incredibly good. The cooldown is fine at 14, so yeah, it's a great ability to spam on your opponents to get some advantage there.
And we are seeing Gunnar play the Timbersaw mid, and he's played pretty much every hero in the entire game in the mid lane this DPC, it feels like. And he's done so at a very high clip. But Timbersaw versus Kunkka is an interesting one. Obviously, both can harass each other. Timber good against melee in general, but obviously there's no trees, so he can't get the full damage. But what do you think of the matchup between these two heroes?
I mean, it seems kind of cool for Timber, to be honest, because normally Kunkka just wrecks you because he does so much damage with Tidebringer, but while he does still splash his damage on Timber, he's able to not only get regen from the Reactor Burn, but armor. Therefore, the splash just doesn't do as much, and hasn't really been greedy on his itemization here. He's going to get his bottle coming out right now. And that'll help offset any of the damage here that Kunkka is doing in this lane. But it is a little contentious right now. Yeah. But once his bottle gets to him, as long as he can refill that, he's going to be just fine and stabilize from here.
Yep, and so far, like you said, relatively even to start things out. Costa Belate looking for some range creeps, and he got one beautifully with that hook. What?
Moon Trouble bottom.
Oh, okay. That is a Fatal Bonds applied, so they're going to try to hit some creeps. Moo still surviving through it all, though. Albino Zebra getting slowed to a crawl. Moo has to redirect to the other side, but you can see 5RATFORCESTAFF have an idea that he's done this, but he's going to salve through. Hammer. Yep, dodged out. So he got a lot of the healing out, but now he's in kind of a weird spot, aggroing the wave on top of it.
Play the Benny Hill music. This is going to be a long one here.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, he has some good regen thanks to the Helm of the Iron Will. Puts himself inside the trees, eats a tango, probably petting his cat right now as well. As Moo, he looks fine.
Oh my god.
He is absolutely
juke
fine.
Spot in the game. I was like, surely this will be the place that he's never juked before. Nope. He is super ready to go. Didn't get the most value out of his cell, but yeah, ends up wasting a lot of their time. Stacks up the creep wave a little bit here. And Albino Zebra is going to get a little bit more harassing before he gets back to safety. Any tangos on Zeus? Got 1 tango to give him, but this was kind of rough for Moo. Pulls him out of a lot of last hits, and DNM's also getting some denies down here. in the safe lane. So, but at least he gets under tower.
Yep, and that is a fatal bonds on a full wave. Yeah, he's gonna have to tango through this, and with the extra regen coming from the Helm of the Iron Will, but it's not enough. Albino Zebra and company able to get first blood thanks to the fatal bonds, which very value skill.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to nuke the creep wave at some point to spread that damage. Eventually goes for it. Nicely done. Kind of better for Mu that he dies, honestly, just because like after getting in that position, getting so low and harassed down by the Warlock, he really needs to be able to reset here. If not, then he's just not getting last hits for a while. And now you're seeing a big separation in his last hits from DNMs. So it's fine. They're a little bit behind in their off lane, but they should be able to recover here.
And we'll see the toss back. Costabile not going to pursue any further. He has the 1-2-1 build. We've talked about this before, but likely to see the Rot and Flesh Heap taken in equal amounts with the casual level of Hook, which will be the last thing leveled.
That's right, Suns fan. Do you like this Wraith band that he's picked up here? Pretty cool, right?
What the hell is this about? Why? He just needs the
Never
armor?
Seen this before?
No.
It is a very cheap armor item. It's a very, very value armor item. It gives you almost 3 armor with just the Wraith Band alone. And then once it upgrades, it's like 5 armor for less cost than a chainmail.
Yeah, it might be the right choice, but it's just weird not seeing a bracer instead. You know, it is Pudge for God's sake.
Yeah, but like your survivability is really not going to change much from one bracer. It's 100 HP early game. The base damage isn't that needed. If anything, the attack speed that Wraith Band gives you is better. 10 attack speed. It gives you basically everything that Pudge is really lacking. Armor and attack speed are things that you definitely sacrifice by picking this hero.
Oh, we're seeing Z-Freak come into the mid lane. Nico, he just recently X-marks back and forth to the mid lane. Be able to refill that bottle. He gets extremely low, but there's a shadow word from Albino Zebra, so good job from Nouns forcing in a TP, although Husky has also joined the party, so maybe a little bit of extra, or a little bit too much of over-rotation. Either way, Gunnar is having himself a time right now, just forcing Nico out of lane. Yeah,
they're not 6 yet on Kunkka here, so no boat combo possible, and with 3 points reactive, he just tanks the whole damn thing. But at least they can pump some heal into Kunkka. Is this going to hurt DNM? Nah. He's got his creep wave under the tower. He's still laning against Mu here, so everything seems fine. Pretty good reaction, but ultimately Nico's a little behind without a doubt. Picks up 6 finally from that small camp, so next time that happens, maybe Gunnar gets punished.
Yep, Costabile getting gone on. The Spirit Siphon into the Avatos, all the way back into the wave. Another Spirit Siphon now as he's continually getting blocked. Nice job from Giant. Costabile pops the wand. As you can see, the Cold Embrace coming in to try to counteract the Spirit Siphon, and that should be enough to help him survive. And DNM on the other side getting harassed out of lane for the time being.
Okay. You know, if he had a bracer there, he would have healed slightly more from Cold Embrace.
Yeah, that's true. That's huge. That would have been huge. Are you
been
expecting
like 6 more HP or something?
You're expecting anything different from the Pudge build, aside from the old Aghanim Scepter? And, I mean, we see Vanguard from time to time.
Yeah, just depends what order he chooses to get his items in. Blink, Ags, sometimes BKB. He's going to choose to get a Phase Boots too, which is I'm a big fan of that. I used to get that a lot in the past when I would do Pudge Core. Just helps your movement speed, and your armor is really a lot better with it.
Up speed getting slowed to a crawl as Gunnar has made his transition over. As you can see, the Solar Guardian coming in, ends up getting the stun onto Gunnar. Trying to focus on Costabile, who takes the full Starbreaker combo. He's going to get Cold Embrace, but he's right under the tier 1 as Giant has now made his way over. Gets the Avalanche off, and Speed gets credit for that kill on the position 1 Pudge. Looks like it'll break things up there.
Great Solar Guardian. Perfect usage right there. If they have 6 on Pudge, maybe they get that kill, but with Solar Guardian in the game, just excellent reaction. Ooh, Husky in trouble now.
Yep,
3 seconds till Cold Embrace.
Tossed in. He has X marks if he needs it, but the right clicks will suffice. So 3-0 start for 5RATFORCESTAFF, although net worth are slightly behind right now.
Yep, Gunnar's also shifted to the off lane to help pressure that tower, knowing that mid is kind of hard to do, but on the off lane here, he can spread things out a little bit more, and Mu's beating up the tower. Gunnar's got his Arcane Boots just about finished, so his spam is going to be pretty high now. Costabile missed the hook on Albino Zebra in the jungle, but him being down here is probably the toughest thing for Nouns. Pudge is definitely not doing so good in this laning stage so far, but he has picked up 6 at least. He can do a mix of jungling, but he'd much rather just plant his butt in the lane for a little bit longer than this.
Yeah, I mean, how often And this is a hero that can actually do stacks relatively early now, though, right? So he has some comeback potential versus what he used to be. Like,
he can with levels, but he's only got 2 points in rot right now is the tough thing.
Yeah, true.
A mix of hook is a good way to do it, though. That's how he cleared this camp. Rot attacks down one of them, hooks the second, and he's got Ring of Health, Keen Optics. So
Gunner, X marks, boat coming, gets the Timber Chin off perfectly. Gunner with a god tier Timber Saw play. Gets tipped by Husky, his longtime partner in crime.
That was so big. That was a huge moment there. Definitely would have died otherwise. Incredible to time this, but he knows the boat timing. I guess you can play that off audio a little bit, but still, that's like really, really difficult to do. Yeah. You have to throw it. Like, it has to attach the moment after the X hits. If you get stunned on the way through, you are just dead. Yeah, he's a little bit surprised too. It's like, I did it, hell yeah. That was really nicely done.
DNM on the Dawnbreaker working towards an Echo Saber. As you can see, Z-Freak on the other side of the trees here, coupled up with Moose smoked up. And obviously,
a lot of damage here.
Yeah, if they saw the vision that we have, they would have gone for this already. As DNM is all alone, but with that wave, he's going to back up, so it doesn't look like Nouns are going to be able to capitalize there.
Yeah. Very close, but not able to get him, unfortunately, without having better vision. Great D-ward by No Zebra finds the one near Roche just barely. That puts him almost at 6, so they've almost got the Chaotic Offering. Very good stuff for them.
Do you think that's one of the worst?
Pretty good for 5RATs.
Do you think that's one of the worst spell names in the game?
Chaotic Offering?
Yeah.
Like, I'm leaning towards yes.
The way that I look at it is, like, from a caster perspective, like, if there's a hype ultimate, as we're going to hold that thought, X marks into boat, and Z-Freak does get off the Heavenly Jump, and some creeps are on their way as Moo gets, okay, the Chaotic Offering is just quite enough to take out Z-Freak. Hook is there from Costa Bile, but you can see he is completely surrounded, so his game not going to get much better after this, as the big cleave comes in from Nico. And that's a 2-for-0, as Nouns still not even on the board yet.
I mean, this is the second time now that the Solar Guardian has just really undercut these early team fights that Nouns are going for here. They might be able to get a Bino Zebra at least. They've got really good slow against him.
Yep. And Z-Freak doing the Zeus thing, like we talked about last series. Yep. And that's going to be the first kill for Nouns.
They actually needed that damage, so that made the fight a little bit cleaner. But yeah, so far, the power of the 5RATFORCESTAFF lineup is definitely in this early game. They've got great team fight between all of their heroes, and the tough thing for them is that Nouns, especially on the Pudge, he hasn't been able to turn out some teamfight contribution. He's kind of doing the typical Pudge thing, but his net worth is still close to everyone else's on the charts, so this really isn't that bad for him. If he was behind a net worth and he wasn't feeling impact, it would feel a lot worse, especially if he was worried about being outscaled, but that's not really something he has to be super concerned with. Again, there's still the worry from like Death Prophet and a possible Spirit Vessel coming from DP, but those things aren't really accelerating to the same pace that would really make him terrified right now.
Yeah, you're right. Still middle of the pack, but like you said, the middle of the pack is actually pretty much very even with the rest. As you can see, Nico in the mid lane now. Top net worth. He is working on a pretty quick BKB for himself. And that's actually a really quick BKB. It's double bracer BKB, so going for Ultra Tank, wants to fight right off the bat.
Yeah. Pretty common for Kunkas these days, just because the BKB is so important to make sure your hero can actually initiate correctly and not die immediately afterwards. It's going to be great against Pudge. It's great against Wyvern. It's great against Zeus. It's good against almost all these heroes. I mean, he might get roared through, but I don't think he really cares. It's about the damage to follow up afterwards.
Yeah, but they're going to attempt the backstab. Costa Bile, he's going to be the one gone on. Pops that hood. But that is way too much damage. Actually ends up being a very easy kill. A double avalanche from Giant into the double silence from Speed. And double Spirit Siphon. A lot of double trouble going on here, but there's the curse to kind of break things up. As Husky delays this pretty nicely, but Moose still ticking down to this Fatal Bond Shadow Word combination. And one last tick will do it. So 2 kills and nothing really given up from 5RAT.
The angle was really good, and Flesh Heap had been used on the neutral creeps the moment before he got ganked, so that's why he still took like full damage from Spirit Siphon and Exorcism there. Just the downside of being behind, you have to spend a little bit more time hitting creeps.
Yep, as Gunner's going to get X'd into the Torrent. Avalanche keeps him in place, but he is really tanky, getting off now his Chakram. He gets tossed away, though, but Giant looks to be very dead. As Costabile, I wonder if he got a fleshy. He did not get fleshy for that.
Misses the hook there, too.
That is a quality of life that needs to change for Pudge. Like, if you need to, they already did lower the numbers, but the AoE is pathetic on this thing.
But yeah, I mean, but Flesh Heap is still good, but it's not really like the game winner that it was in the past in terms of how much it gave you. Like, it's definitely very helpful to have more HP, but you know, ultimately he just needs to get experience from these kills. He's still level 9. That's he's like sitting middle of the pack on levels. Means he has less tankiness, he accelerates less quickly. All those things are going to matter a lot. But again, his net worth is still fine. He's going to build towards Ags. He's just spending a lot of time jungling. We'll still see him likely as useful in the mid game. But for now, definitely struggling a bit.
Yeah, but the good news is, like you said, he is getting a lot of help from his team. And I mean, it does feel like more like an off-lane Pudge this game, which maybe not so great if he is the position 1, technically speaking, because they don't really have a traditional right-clicker at all, even if he was farming well.
Yeah, they don't. I think the other thing that really hurts him is they don't really have like a traditional stun setup other than like Roar. It's not easy for him to hook. He's going to have to do this by himself. Oof. Zeus almost getting got.
Yep, Heavenly Jump. Good, clean skill. As you can see, the rotation from Nouns as they're going to be able to find this Kunkka, but the Dawnbreaker ult coming in. Curse, beautifully placed. That should lead to the kill on Kunkka, who gets dismembered after the fact. So Costabile with his first kill of the game. And the hammer slowing everybody out with the Fatal Bond. Just so much damage between the two. Chaotic Offering, the hook does connect from Costabile. DNM gets a full duration Starbreaker off, but looks like he's going to tick out shortly after. So 2 for 1, Zfric the only casualty for Nouns, but you can see how ridiculously low they are with that Fatal Bonds. That is basically a double kill because of the Fatal Bonds. And Gunnar gets taken out by the Crypt Swarm. So 4 for 2 as 5RAT are winning basically every fight at this stage of the game.
Dude, that Fatal Bonds was insane. It looked really bad for 5RAT, and all of a sudden the Tiny was like, oh, I'm in trouble, time to Avatos. He Avatosses on like 4 heroes. So even though the initiation was perfect with the Winner's Curse here to set this up, and then when that was about to run out, he goes for the Dismember, guaranteeing the Kunkka kill. That was all really good. This chase comes and Giant's like, oh, let me just Avatoss the whole team. It's basically like doubling the damage. Look at that. Zeus went from like full HP just about down to 25%. He has to leave immediately. Husky ends up getting cleaned up from the Fatal Bonds. And this is one of the downsides to having these mega tanky frontliners. This like Timbersaw plus the Pudge. Yeah, sure, they're really tanky, but if you Fatal Bond link them to the supports, they're just gonna die eventually. They can't like play around the tankiness. Normally you can say like, oh, tanky guys sit in front, you guys get focused. But now they are tied to the same fate as their tanky cores, and they can't just abuse their front line as much.
Now, I look at the score, I feel like the game is definitely in favor of 5RAT, but then the net worth is very even. I don't even know how to, what's the right way to put this? Like, how would you, what would your outlook be on this game, just if you dropped in now? Because you're looking at Nouns, they're the overwhelming favorite in this series. They don't have a traditional position 1 at all. And it's dead even right now for net worth.
I mean, they do have a lot of damage on their team, though. One of their support is a Zeus. They have a 4 Zeus. They have a Winter Wyvern who does a pretty decent amount of damage, too, between Arctic Burn and Splinter Blast and stuff. I do still like the Nouns lineup, and then obviously Pudge scales really well damage-wise. Once there's BKBs, it becomes much more of a problem, and Death Prophet's a really good counter against these tanky heroes. But they haven't really been able to hit creeps the highest on the 5RAT side. Maybe partially just because Death Prophet has mana issues. Can't just like spam creep waves as much, and they've been moving around to get kills. But I think the other important thing is they haven't even taken a tower yet on the 5RAT side. So even though they've taken like good team fights, not taking objectives yet has limited their net worth advantage, and that's basically why it seems a lot closer. There's a 2 tower deficit actually. If it was for those towers dying, they would be a net worth advantage, and things would make more sense. So it's a mix of them moving around, getting kills all the time, and thus not farming, and it's also that they've lost towers and Nouns has not.
Yeah, that is very strange. This does feel like a game that 5RAT should be up a few thousand gold right now, just based on, and not even just the scoreline, but how the fights have gone. It feels like they have won every fight so far, at least to some degree.
Yeah, they've done very, very well for sure. But in the meantime, Nouns has been hitting creeps pretty consistently, as has Costa Billy. He's only 1,500 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter. So things are going okay for them, especially if they keep their tower alive.
Yeah, and Aghanim Scepter for Pudge will not only do the bigger AoE on the Rot, but the health reduction coming out against the likes of a Death Prophet or the Shadow Word from Warlock or the Dawnbreaker ult is actually pretty damn good this game.
Oh yeah, well it's regen reduction actually. I forgot about that aspect of it. But so I don't think it won't stop healing. I don't believe so. Shadow Word will still work. Yes, Spirit Siphon should still work. Things like you have to like really like look to see what it is. Like what's a good example? Legion Commander's Moment of Courage is regen, for example. It's not heal. What would be another example? There's like it just depends on the ability. I think Overcharge on IO is technically regen, but the tether jump might be heal. There's like slightly different specifications. So the anti-healing part will be fine, but not that incredible. It's more just about the overall main damage.
Well, that's sad because I thought that was really good.
Sure.
Is it just Spirit Siphon then, or is that not even considered?
Spirit Siphon's probably a heal, I would guess. So yeah, doesn't do shit.
Great. Great mechanic.
Base regen is 17.2. Okay, so you'd be reducing 25% of that. How
Excellent. About that? Very good. Okay. As we're going to see a smoke now from 5RAT. They have their chaotic offering available.
The Tranquil Boots, it'd limit that if it's active.
That's a big one.
Does that make you? Does that help?
Very big. Of course, you could just disable it by right-clicking them, but we'll just ignore that aspect of the item. And you can tell that Nouns are kind of aware of this as they've kind of dispersed. So it doesn't look like this smoke will come to anything other than potentially this tier 1, which is going to be conceded anyway.
I think it's cool that Mu is playing his creeps in the area because it's a cool way to like defend the tower and delay this tower death without having to put yourself in danger. So good that he wasn't there with his creeps. Definitely much safer. And they're going to instantly move the creeps over the mid lane to split push here. They got the Dark Troll Summoner, so good luck tower. They just glyph too. So mid tower is going to die almost for sure. 5RATFORCESTAFF basically gains their opponent's safe lane for their mid. That's not worth it, I don't think.
Man, I've barely seen any of that creep since it got nerfed.
The Dark Troll?
Yeah. It really fell off a cliff.
A little weaker. Well, I mean, it was busted broken before. Also keep in mind that Enchantress, that was the big one, got nerfed. So you can't take control of a Dark Troll Summoner until you're level 5. Whereas before you could get it level 1. So very different, right?
All right, I like this though. 5RAT going for the Roche play. And Nouns not quite in position to try to contest. They might be thinking this is a potential smoke, but I think they have the vision now, especially with that ult from Z-Freak. So Roche is at half HP. And you can see Gunnar in the area to try to initiate. 4 smoked up now for Nouns. Actually, Gunnar's invis. He's going to get the Chakram inside the pit. And there's the avalanche from Giant. Can they get into the pit in time? No. Looks like DNM is going to get credit for that, but they're going to get the kill onto the Tiny to start things out. Chaotic Offering with a nice Fatal Bonds again, but already 2 dead for 5RAT. But I think they'll be okay with this. If they don't lose any, the upheaval, this conversation again. Albino Zebra is dead.
They're not going to be okay with this in the slightest. I mean, ultimately they chain stunned the Kunkka. He didn't get BKB off. It started with Aurora, I believe, then they hooked him over and finished him off. Got bursted all the way down before surviving. So no boat to keep them up. This was them trying to zone their opponents a little bit. It gets cleaned up. He was a little bit low at half HP. Throws 1X there, gets roared, and yeah, made a big mistake not popping BKB. He still would have gotten roared, of course, but he maybe wouldn't have died afterwards. But ultimately, they forced Roche. They also burned all of Exorcism just to Roche, right? It took a while for it to die, so it wasn't exactly the ideal team fight afterwards. So good by Nouns to identify that and partially contest to get some gold advantage.
Yep, Speed on the high ground. He's going to see 3 members of Nouns, but he's the one getting kited. That's a lot of damage. Yeah, that's a lot of damage over time, but the hook save, nicely done from Costa Bile onto Mu. As you can see, the shard was picked up by DNM to give him a little bit more control. He's going to get the Avatos help to take out that creep, and that means Giant will finally get his Blink Dagger at the 22-minute mark.
Yeah, and Speed very carefully didn't press BKB in that fight, which is very important. knew they weren't fully committing, so he ends up being fine, gets healed back up by the Warlock, who has a shard. Just doing the old AoE heal. Very good stuff here. So game's still very even. Slight advantage for Nouns as they continue. As Pudge have Ags yet? He does. And he's got a Perseverance on top of that too, going for a Lotus Orb. So they're just going to try to be able to defend themselves as much as possible. You should be able to Lotus Reflect Spirit Siphon, right? So that sounds pretty amazing.
Yep. As we're going to see, the smoke gank onto Gunnar, who's going to get Boda. But you can see the Wyvern is coming in with that curse ready. The Cold Embrace comes out first. And the Spirit Siphon applied, but there's the curse to save Gunnar, trying to get some distance between him and Speed. Still a lot of damage being applied. He gets X marks back, and Gunnar should be dead. In fact, they'll take out Husky in turn as well. So 2-0 as they'll roar into the hook. And that's a nice kill for Costabile. Z-Freak able to get out. Costabile, though, it's a lot of members of 5RAT to try to counteract. And the Starbreaker with that shard able to, okay, gets off the Dismember, but the silence comes shortly after. And he is getting help from the Axis from afar, so they got to be careful. And DNM,
got him.
That is the Aegis down. Triceratops needs to be punished for his transgressions. But at the very least, from Noun's side, they get rid of that Aegis, but it does cost them 3 members. So again, these fights mostly going the way of 5RAT outside that Roche fight.
And Nouns saved their tower as well, so... I mean, it looked bad for Pudge, but then he pressed the magic button, the Flesh Heap, and then he stopped taking damage, was getting some lifesteal. Had pretty good resistances, so God, if only it was 25 minutes and his Wraith Band was level 2 instead of level 1.
Oh yeah,
he definitely would have lived.
That's true. He just needs
that
another
2 extra
Wraith
strength. That 2.5, almost 3 extra armor.
Get rid of that Windlace, you know. Put another Wraith Band in there. Why not? It's going to double up in a minute. Easy money. As we're going to see.
The worst point.
I mean, I was being sarcastic still. Albino Zebra has a Holy Locket, and he picked up a shard not too long ago, which is something we don't get to see all too often anymore. So that's the Shadow Word AoE, and also slows.
Kind of depends on the game, kind of, but I think this is a really good game for it, because their team is doing a pretty good job bringing it to Nouns. You know, if they have a lot of tanky people, you just slap the heal on your opponents and your allies. It's a really big swing. The amount of heal you're providing is going to be huge. It's 45 right now, so... you know, slap on an extra like 15 HP. So it's like a 60 heal per second. So over the course of 12 seconds, that's 720 HP to your allies. And so that's a lot, especially with Ghost Ship and stuff like that, and other tanky frontliners like Death Prophet and Dawnbreaker. But Nouns just says, we're just going to go high ground against you.
Yep, and I mean, there's no flamethrower to worry about on Gunnar yet, but the Triceratops with the Inner Beast aura, everything is... You gotta respect this. I mean, that's already half HP on the tier 3.
Yeah, great move. Didn't cost them much. Not too much danger here. They disengaged successfully. Really solid. Oh wow, he bought another Wraith Band.
Oh hell yeah, he was listening, huh?
So it's called a plate mail.
Oh damn. Okay, close enough. That's a much more expensive Wraith Band though.
It is, but it does give you twice as much armor.
That's right. But at the 50-minute mark, Wraith Band will triple in stats next patch. Coming to a patch near you. We have the curse. And we can see a TP coming in. The hook, nicely timed from Costabile, but there's the Solar Guardian. Healing him up to a high degree. He's going to pop the BKB as well, as Costabile is just stuck in such an awful spot right now. Gets X back, but obviously mitigating quite a bit of damage. Attempting to TP out, but the Avalanche cancel. So in the end, they will find Costabile. But Speed, in the meantime, was trying to catch somebody. He's going to live on a sliver of HP, but you're right. Despite all that, only losing 1. Could have been worse.
You know what really changed that? The Warlock heal was really big. Ooh, it's not over.
Yep, the toss back into the Starbreaker. Gunnar takes a ton of damage here. And the Lotus Orb with the heal coming out from Husky, but doesn't have Curse to try to save Gunnar this time. The Timber Chain onto the other side, the Glimmer Cape as well. But they see him. Is he actually going to live through this? It looks like he might. And on the other side, Nouns is actually just dropping everybody. So, and they lost Gunnar, actually. So everybody dies except for the Beastmaster.
That kind of should just let him die, actually. They kind of screwed him a little bit. The Arctic, I feel like the Cold Embrace kind of got him in trouble, because it stopped his Timber Chain from working, so his eventual escape came much later. They should have maybe just let him die. It's not like Roche is up. Maybe they pressured the tower or something like that, but losing everybody seems a little bit more expensive, but ultimately the fight in the bot kind of wasn't so good. There was that power heal going into Kunkka. They hooked him over, but then he presses BKB. They overlayer it with Roar, which is not good either. So it was just they had to run away at that point. And at this point, 5RATFORCESTAFF just pretty strong at fighting. The heal on their squad looks good. They've got tossbacks with Tiny. If anybody gets in trouble, they slap the Dawnbreaker ulti on top of them. And Speed can kind of do whatever he wants on the Death Prophet. So far, it's been a really good performance by 5RATFORCESTAFF.
Yeah, if only that Pudge Ags worked the way that I thought, it would have a huge impact on this healing strat. But as we've established, that's not the case. So they'd have to buy a Scotty, which they don't have any Scotty carries, although they do have a Shiva's carrier in Costa Bile.
What about Zeus?
Scotty on Zeus, sure. I like it. I like it.
I do not. It's not good.
Frost
Shiva's is
and
the way to go.
Lightning. I hear they're a good combo.
Or Spirit Vessel. Those would be the two good things to buy. In fact, neither team has Spirit Vessel yet. Death Prophet hasn't chosen to buy one. I find that bad. I guess they have a lot of Lotus Orbs, so maybe that's why they don't want to buy it, because they over-purchase Lotus Orbs in anticipation for Spirit Vessel being freaking godly.
Yeah.
That's probably why they haven't bought it, which does make some sense, because now they've got 2 Lotuses online, one for Pudge, one for the Timbersaw. Neither hero particularly wants to get a BKB because it's not really that good this game. They're tanky enough that they can survive the boat combos, so it's just better for them to buy Lotuses.
Oh, avalanche from Giant, but Husky gets off the Glimmer Cape. As you see the dive bomb coming out, that has a lot of burst damage on the Giant, but he's sped up thanks to the Shadow Word. It's actually noticeable.
His
the
Tranquil
speed
Boots
boost.
were active.
Oh, that's true. They never
Tranquil Boots
right-clicked
active
them.
the whole time. Yeah, huge
If only they
mistake
had
there.
gotten a little bit of rot on there, maybe as well.
Yeah, or if they had any disable setup, the hook would have been easier to land and they would have been able to secure the kill. So tough one for them. Ooh, the Cloak of Flames for the Radiant side. Both teams, especially the Nouns heroes, would love Cloak of Flames, I gotta say.
How do you feel?
Very good on Pudge.
I know the game's not over yet. How do you feel about Pudge this game? I feel like it's had 0 impact.
Oh yeah, it's been very underwhelming. Yeah, no doubt about that.
And I think you brought up a good point. They don't really have that much setup, right? It's just, I mean, they've done it with Curse and Roar once each, and that's about it. It's Gunnar and company going into the high ground. Giant is blown up, but Albino Zebra gets the full combo off. But you can see the Yules end up dispelling that Fatal Bonds. That's going to be a 1-for-1 to start, but that's the buyback onto the Tiny. BKB early activation from Nico, and Costa Bile getting saved for the time being. On the other side, you can see Giant getting roared as Costa Bile just completely focused by the Dawnbreaker with that Deso doing absolute work, and he ends up dropping to the deck. So 2 for 2 to start this out is Moo. Ends up going down and Gunnar timber chaining to safety. Looks like he should be okay as Husky attempting to TP out. But he's spotted, but no cancellation.
Suns fan, that was an absolute legendary upheaval, I gotta say, legitimately. I mean, the fight started kind of bad for the Rats, that the Tiny gets blown up pretty quickly. But it took them, like, the backline upheavaled for that long. By the time that the fight is over, upheaval lingers for 3 seconds, keep in mind. So watch this combo. He gets Fatal Bonds on 4 heroes, drops the rock, drops the upheaval, and look how long it takes for that to get interrupted. And finally, when he gets interrupted with his death, then 3 more seconds have to pass before they can finally run full movement speed. So in this whole time period, they couldn't get out back into position or escape. This basically forced a full engagement. And then Speed from the side, I believe. Was that Speed? Yeah, Speed comes from the side, gets really aggressive. Keep in mind, Speed has not used his BKB one single time this game because he hasn't needed it, but it's there.
Yeah, DNM getting pretty low, but they have enough sustain to get through it. As Gunnar focusing on an Aghanim Scepter now for the Timbersaw. And obviously to go along with his Hood Lotus and SNK.
All right. Is he changing his mind? He's got Blink queued up right now.
Oh, okay, yeah, he did change his mind. Okay, they
Both
could
are
definitely use a little bit more
certainly.
catch.
But yeah, a little bit of initiation on their squad would be nice, because right now they don't really have any jump at all, except for like hooking a guy. They don't have Blink on Pudge either, so they do kind of need somebody that can just jump and be aggressive, split up the team fight a little bit. Because what keeps happening is they keep running in as 5 and they just get Warlock comboed, because their heroes aren't very mobile and aren't very good at splitting up the enemy squad. They do have Blink on Beast. That's another way to do it.
Well, they are going for Roche right now, but you can see the Chaotic Offering not quite up yet. Another 28 seconds. Let's see if they can try to delay this, as Roche pretty low, is about 30% HP. And Nouns, I feel like if they knew Chaotic Offering was down 100%, they would definitely commit to this. But there is the Thunder God's Wrath. They're going to get the vision. Nico coming in with the big boat and the tidal wave. He takes the Aegis. He takes the Roche. Oh my goodness, what a disaster for Nouns as Costa Bile getting off a full duration Dismember, which ends up netting him the kill on Albino Zebra. But the question is, what cost does that come with? Moo drops to the deck. Giant gets the Avatos on the Z-Freak to finish him off. And that is a 3-for-1 with everything taken from 5RAT. Holy jeez.
Just perfect timing. They used the torrent. They see how low it is. They timed it out. And yeah, the tidal wave was incredibly good there. I mean, there's not BKBs on the enemy squad, right? They all bought Lotus Orbs. So there's nothing they could do to pop BKB and stop this from happening. So they run and get everything. And there's still just a shard sitting in Kunkka's backpack if somebody else on his team wants it. So yeah, I don't know. The Rats are owning here.
They are looking good. They're going to take this mid lane Rax uncontested. Still another 13 seconds for the Beastmaster to come back. Avatos back into the fray, though. And Costa Bile, he's going to get Tidal Wave to the low ground, but there's the save from Husky. Has Winter's Curse as well, so 5RAT have to be careful here as the full lineup from Nouns is now available to them. And the Avalanche defensive measure from Giant. He's going to be spotted, but no cancellation. So they get out with everybody.
It must have been so close to jumping to stunning him there, but it wasn't quite there. Tough that they got no response kills. Pudge is definitely, like, I see what they're kind of trying to do with the Pudge here. It's like you Pudge and Timbersaw on the front, you've got a Wyvern, so the amount of heal you're getting is incredible, but we just haven't seen that much offensive advantage from the Pudge still.
Yeah.
They're tanky, but that's like all they have going for them. They're often, it's just hard for them to like make kills happen with what they've got because they don't have a great initiator.
Yeah, we must be seeing Shard here for DP, and there it is. So the Fear attached to Spirit Siphon with the extra charge on top. One of the best shards in the game, I think. Has been nerfed though over time, so the Fear not quite as powerful, but still getting it for free. You'll really take it.
Yep, it gives them a way to stun basically. What do you own?
We have an Ags on Nico. He has Torrent Storm. This, man, they have so much team fight. It is insane.
Yeah. Pudge ulti going to be pretty useless till he finishes Ags, or BKB that is. No matter what, he's going to get stunned by random stuff. Is what we're expecting here.
We talked about 5RAT not having my boy Little Nick available, and we thought that might spell doom for them because he's looked like their best player all season, but Nico has looked exceptionally good this game.
Yeah, he has. He's been playing really good. Speed's been playing really good from the offlane too. Ooh, they try to get Husky here.
Yep, Husky.
Tried to land the X, but messed it up because he glimmered himself, so that was really big. Now there's not going to be a Dawn ulti. If you can go fight and kill Dawn, that would be a really good window here. Or just take the fight, no Dawn ulti. I mean, Dawnbreaker's still terrifying with Blink Dagger and Shard and Deso and all this stuff, but maybe a small moment that they can abuse on the Nouns side.
Yep, they're going to have to eat through this Aegis, which still has 2 minutes to go. And this Tier 1 tower is going to be going the way of 5RAT, and they could probably get the Tier 2 as well, but we'll see if they have other things in mind, as BKB now online for Gunner.
I mean, they got the Aegis still, so if they don't spread out, Nouns is not going to want to fight them, even with the Solar Guardian being down. So good at least that Nouns cross the map. They're going to go take Tri-Camp. Done a little bit of dewarding here. If they can get a tower as well, it'd be all right. But yeah, now that they're threatening high ground for the second Rax, Nouns is going to have to go back. No TP on Pudge, actually. So they actually can't fight for like 10 seconds at least.
See if they can take advantage of this as the Tier 3 tower already about half HP. The BKB is online for Costa Bile, so the only cancellation for Dismember is Chaotic Offering. So we'll see if that comes into play in these coming fights.
Doesn't even seem that good to do that. Nice split push, though, by the Beast. He ends up taking the Tier 2 tower. Fortunately, gives the summon to Dawnbreaker. No, Dawnbreaker with ulti now means that no split push is possible. Because he can just come whenever the fight starts. Unless they hook somebody really out of position.
That is always a Pudge possibility. DNM with the Solar Guardian, though, so he can get anywhere he wants. Looks like he's focusing on Basher, so that would be another cancellation for a little bit more reliable. Against, well, maybe reliable is not the right word, but low cooldown cancellation for the Dismember BKB. And I mean, we talked about it, Purge. Jenkins brought it up. Nouns tend to play down to their competition. Obviously, this is not to take away from 5RAT at all, as I think they've played very well this game. Nouns, okay, they're gonna spot DNM. There's the roar, there's the dismember, and that is a value pickup.
Yep, the Spectre counter, basically. Go kill the carry that is going to come from somewhere else on the map. Really nicely done there. And definitely one of the downsides of what 5RAT was doing in this moment tactically is that you have to anticipate that or make sure that it doesn't happen. But with Zeus ulti, it was pretty straightforward. As soon as smoke breaks, you have vision on your opponent, then you just blink stun him. If you pop BKB, maybe there's a chance he lives, but didn't react in time. It was hard. Like, you're in darkness, basically. You get Zeus ultied. You don't necessarily know you're about to be blink roared. So it's tough to know to press BKB in those moments. So they get a kill, and that gives them map control finally. And with that gem, hopefully they can get all these wards that their opponents have placed. They should be able to get at least one of them. Probably two. So this is a great reset here for Nouns. This is going to negate a lot of the net worth difference.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we don't talk about that often, but obviously getting that kill just in a vacuum, I mean, it's kind of whatever. It's great, but it's more so what comes after while he's dead. You get all this map control. Like, they had a 10K lead, basically. So 4K from one kill, essentially, is what's happened. Yeah. Which is huge.
Yeah, the ward snipes are big, too. I mean, each one of those is 250 gold.
Oh, Costa
so
Bele.
A lot of experience.
Trying to get off that hook. It is not to be, though. And Roshan, we won't know for another minute and a half when the next one will spawn.
It's a little spooky. They are in vision, Costa Bele here, but does have BKB.
God, it must be miserable not to play Pudge with a blink without a blink dagger. I swear to God.
Yeah,
it's awful.
He's very slow. Look, he's 325 movement speed when he's not phased.
God.
Landing hooks is very difficult. You can't ever basically just like blink and ulti. You're just always forced to land the hook first.
Yeah.
And your team doesn't have good setup. But again, it makes some sense. He needs to be tanky. He needs to be the frontliner, and they can back him up with Cold Embrace. And they've got the shard on Wyvern too. So like pretty low cooldown, huge percentage based heals. Like there's a lot of good things about it. But yeah, he's hit a lot of neutral creeps this game. That's why his net worth is still relatively good.
That is true. And if he is able to get the Shivas, we talked about that as a potential. That is a good item against 5RAT's lineup with all this healing coming through. Giant, you can see the Avatos, the Solar Guardian coming in, but Moose already popped the BKB. A big boat to come, though. Doesn't actually connect on anybody. As Giant is going to likely be the first to fall in this engagement. As the Torrent Storm's going crazy. They find Zefric, they find Wyvern, who both buy back into the game. Tiny yet to do so for himself as Costa Bele gets dropped. So again, 5RAT getting basically everything on, and they get the cancel of the TP with the blind Torrent, and Gunnar forced to try to fight his way out of this, but that ain't happening. 5RATFORCESTAFF, man, they're looking good.
I don't think Costa Bele played that fight very well, personally. Like, his positioning was pretty good, right? They jump on the Tiny, he didn't want to ulti him, and then eventually what happens is he just presses BKB and tries to TP out. Like, he didn't ulti the Tiny, he didn't hook him, he didn't press BKB. I really feel like he should have just guaranteed that Tiny kill, because then Timber has to chase after it. I don't know if it would have made it better, but watch what Pudge is doing in this fight. He walks in. This looks great for him. He's getting all this damage on Tiny. This should be an easy kill. He could have also BKB ultied the Kunkka, maybe doing rot damage to the Tiny in the meantime. Instead, they get this monster Torrent Storm off. The fight gets pretty chaotic. The backline for Nouns had already been dead. Then he finally BKBs to try to TP, realizing the fight's going so bad. But I don't know. Like, he seems a little bit inexperienced on Pudge from my perspective. Maybe he just doesn't have Dota Plus, but it's shown bronze soon. So,
would they really pick a bronze Pudge? Come on now. He must just not have Dota Plus.
Look, Costa Bele's a really good player, but it's not been the best Pudge performance. Again, it's not an easy Pudge game. They've also been losing for the majority of the game. That makes the hero look worse as well.
They did last pick it, though. There's no excuse that it's not a good Pudge game. It's their literal last pick.
Yeah.
For God's sake.
Yeah.
No excuses on that one. 11K lead for 5RAT. You can see 2 still dead for Nouns. Gunnar does have buyback with 40 seconds left, but Costa Bele does not. So they have to wait that full 15 seconds, which means this tower and possibly the entire barracks is going to go the way of 5RAT. So they're going to have 2 full lanes in their favor. And with Roshan spawning another 45 seconds, that could solidify Game 1 victory for 5RAT if they get that.
Yeah, it's looking great for them. I mean, they push so fast with AC as well as the Deso, of course. The Spell Prism on Kunkka is fantastic. Lots of mana regen to fuel his waterworks. It's very good. Lower cooldown too. He's going to switch to a Timeless Relic though, it seems. Once more stun duration, which is a great call. Especially once it's level 27, he gets that powerful Torrent knock-up stun duration talent.
Oh, yeah.
2 seconds stun with Torrent instead of 1.6. That's pretty good. And that's going to be elongated to 2.4 second AoE stuns from Torrents. That with the Timeless Relic. That's actually bonkers if you think about it.
Yep, that is true. And you're right. The
And he
next
has a
level,
Hex.
so level 27 will net him that, which you don't really talk about 27 talents very often because it's just
Yeah.
a level 10 talent. But in this game,
But it is one talent you can never get over the 30 damage on Kunkka. If you're Kunkka core, like,
Yeah,
of
for
course
sure.
you get the damage. You just can't pass it up. Mu trying to split push a little bit. Gunner playing over here. He's got Ags and Timeless Relic, so his spell amp is 39% on Timbersaw. So every passive the Chakra does 278 pure damage. So you can do like 1,000 pure damage in just a simple toss out of both Chakras.
not too shabby. But
that's if they're not BKB'd and if their team isn't done.
Roshan number 3 is being taken, and nobody's even remotely close for Nouns. And this is an Aghanim Scepter Rosh. My oh my, a freebie
Give
for
it to Death Prophet.
5RAT.
Hell yeah.
Aghanim
Death Prophet
Scepter,
Ags.
Death Prof. That's kind of a meh one, to be honest.
That's not true at all. I think it's very good.
You think it's very okay? I'm not.
Yeah,
It's not.
It gives you very.
I'm not saying it's bad, but
okay,
by
it's
comparison with other Ags, it's kind of meh these days.
Okay, well, you're not going to give the Ags a Dawnbreaker because you want her to jump into the fight and go hit people rather than spinning in space or whatever.
Yeah.
Tiny support doesn't really need it. You could give it to Warlock, sure. That one's pretty decent, but the really nice thing about Death Prophet Ags is it gives you a lot of control over like enemy heroes. It like helps you slow people is the best thing about it in my opinion. So that while you're like chasing some guy and you hit him with attacks and Crypt Storm and Silence, they're slowed much longer, which is in effect movement speed. So that aspect about it's really good if you're chasing down a Zeus or like a Winter Wyvern on the backline. That's the situations that I really like it.
Yeah, but you're right. I think out of the remaining ones, they kind of had to give it to her anyway as process of elimination.
Yep.
I mean, the 2 golems it's good, but you get reduced
fine.
stats on them, which is kind of weird. So it's not as good as it may look initially.
It's actually
as
not that reduced.
the roar, I think it's 25% less, right? As we're going to see the Solar Guardian coming in, but that's already a dead Kunkka. Buys back into the game. The Starbreaker to come onto 2. Almost deletes Wyvern right out. Gets him, though. There's the Shivas coming online for Costa Bili. He's trying to reset with that BKB going out, but they're going to see him. The Abyssal Blade gets reflected, but either way, enough damage to kill out that fat, juicy Pudge. On the other side, though, Gunner, he's going to get control, trying to take out the Warlock, but he's going to have to try to get out with his own life now, as he is completely surrounded. Starbreaker is there. Does have buyback, though, as he falls. So 5RAT lose 1 hero who buys back into the game. It is an important one in the Kunkka. They have to try to get this Beastmaster in the meantime, and they do so. 84 seconds, but Mu has the buyback. Boat not going to really do much as Gunner pops that BKB. They're trying to fight inside the base as Z-Freak going to get his Yules off. And he heavenly jumps and Force Staffs back into the fountain, so he's going to be A-OK. 5RAT have to reset, and they're going to go for these Mega Creeps, which might have to just be given up without their position 1 Pudge. I'm not sure how Nouns can even fight this. The Avatos back. Gunner getting quite low. And by that, I mean he's still full HP, has the Lotus Orb, and back into the base they go. I don't know how much longer they can wait here, as the Mega Creeps are now in favor of in favor of 5RAT. Now they can just focus down these Tier 4 towers, as game number 1 is almost certainly going to go the way of 5RAT, which I think most people would be absolutely shocked by, as Gunner trying to make a last damage. He's getting Abyssal Bladed. There's the curse. If they can get Kunkka, they could have a chance to try to defend this, because this will be a dieback onto him. But instead, Mu and company call GG. 5RATFORCESTAFF win game number 1.
Congrats to them. I mean, they were talked about by, I think, EG, saying that they're pretty good. Maybe it's the cut. I don't remember, but hey, incredible, like really good performance. Really unfortunate for Speed that his BKB was broken.